I'll never forget the sound of those little girls' voices that morning. The kind of sound that slices right through the usual New York chaos and makes you stop dead, coffee halfway to your lips, even if you're the kind of guy who's got the world on a string. Please, sir. Our mom can't breathe. There they were, two black girls, barely 8 years old, faces streaked with tears and city grime, clinging to my coat like it was the only solid thing in their world. I remember thinking, man, this city'll make you invisible if you let it. These girls were practically ghosts on a street packed with people, and nobody even turned their head. Maybe that's why I did, you know? Maybe that's why I saw them that I started to pull out my wallet. Because that's what you do, right? Give a few bucks, feel decent, move on. But then the taller girl looked up at me, and I swear, it was like staring into my own past, into memories I thought I'd buried for good. Almond-shaped eyes, the same curve to her lips. I nearly dropped my coffee right there. What's your name? I heard myself ask, voice shaking. I'm Jade, and this is Ruby. Our mom's Diana Santos. My heart just about stopped. 16 years. 16 years since my family had handled that situation. The black woman who dared to love the MILLIONAIRE. 16 years since my father made sure she disappeared for good, that I was James Mitchell, 42, king of a $2 billion real estate empire, builder of towers, breaker of deals, destroyer of competitors. But right then, I was just a man paralyzed by fear, real, bone-deep fear, because the past wasn't dead. It was standing right in front of me, tugging on my sleeve. Where is she? I choked out, tossing my coffee, hailing a cab. The girls didn't hesitate, straight to a shelter on 83rd, hand in mine, like they'd decided I was their best shot. In the cab, Jade sketched on the foggy window. Ruby fiddled with a necklace I recognized instantly. My old class ring. Diana had kept it. Through all these years, after all we'd put her through, that we reached the shelter. A rundown place. The kind of building my company would have torn down without a second thought. Inside, Diana lay on a thin bunk, ghost pale, breath rattling in her chest, but still her. The woman I loved so fiercely my own family thought they had to erase her to save me. James, she whispered, half believing she was dreaming. I knelt in the grime and took her hand. It's real. I'm here. Our daughters, she told me. Our daughters, and the world crashed down. 16 years of lies, and these girls had grown up hungry while I slept on silk sheets that I called my doctor, demanded a private ambulance and a suite at Mount Sinai. As Diana fought for breath, she told me what I should have figured out years ago. They said I wanted nothing to do with her. Sent money to make her go away. I never knew. Not really, though the signs had always been there. Conversations that died when I walked in, mysterious documents my father locked away. The night Diana disappeared, I just believed what I was told. But standing there, seeing her, seeing Jade and Ruby, I knew my family had done something unforgivable. The hospital suite was a world apart. White walls, high-tech machines, a view of Manhattan most people only see in postcards. The girls sat, washed and fed for the first time in weeks, never leaving Diana's side. Is she going to be okay? Ruby whispered, her tiny hand wrapped around Diana's. She will. I promised. Even as my phone buzzed, missed calls from my mother, my brother Charles, my fiancée Victoria. News travels fast in this city, especially when the king of Manhattan turns up with two black children calling him daddy. Victoria was first, stormed in like a thundercloud, high heels snapping, face twisted with outrage. James, what are you doing? This is insanity. Charity cases, really? Watch your mouth, I said, rising to my full height. These are my daughters. She laughed, a cold, mean sound that made Jade shrink into her chair. You realize what this means for us? For the business. I looked at her, really looked, and saw nothing but calculation, not a shred of empathy. The girls stay, I told her. If that's a problem, you know where the door is. Victoria shot back. Oh, it'll be a problem for a lot more than just me. Your mother's on her way. Margaret Mitchell, my mother, arrived 40 minutes later, draped in old money confidence, Charles at her side. James, we need to speak privately. No, you can say it here. She scanned the room, her disdain as sharp as ever. This woman is here to extort us. It's not the first time. Charles jumped in. James, she's tried to contact you. Letters, calls, always about children and money. We protected you. I could barely speak, anger vibrating in my bones. And you never told me? So you could throw away everything we've built? Margaret waved her hand, dismissing Diana, dismissing our daughters. Diana stirred on the bed. They're here, James. The Mitchells, they've come to finish what they started. Margaret snapped. She's delirious. Jade's voice, quiet. Are these the bad people from your nightmares, Mommy? The silence was crushing. I looked from my mother to Diana and finally saw it all. 16 years of manipulation, fear, and secrets. Get out, I said, voice cold and steady. They protested, but I shouted, louder than I'd ever spoken in my life, and watched them slink away. Diana grabbed my hand, her grip surprisingly strong. They paid me, James, but it wasn't just money. They threatened me. Said if I didn't disappear, if I tried to reach you, I'd be gone for good. My world spun. They hadn't just lied. They'd threatened the woman I loved, left our daughters to grow up fatherless. Later that night, while Diana and the girls slept, I called Marcus Webb, the family's old private investigator. Find everything, Marcus. Everything my family did to make Diana vanish. Marcus had always played both sides, but this time he was on mine. 3 days later, he handed me a file heavy as a headstone. Intercepted calls, photos of Diana trying to see me, canceled leases, denied treatments, bribes. Worst of all, audio recordings, my mother and Charles discussing Diana like she was some pest to be exterminated. If she won't take the money, there are other options, Margaret's voice hissed. Only Diana's escape had saved her life. Armed with proof, I waited. Margaret returned, lawyers and a psychiatrist in tow, ready to have me declared incompetent, ready to take Diana and the girls away. But I'd learned from the best, so when the intervention began, I turned on a live broadcast, streaming their threats and confessions to 500,000 people. Margaret's face crumpled as the comments rolled in. New York's finest, society's elite, all witnessing her cruelty, her crimes. The avalanche couldn't be stopped. Fired employees came forward, sharing evidence they'd kept for years. Orders to intercept Diana's mail, threats to landlords, records of medical sabotage. My family wasn't just guilty of tearing us apart, they'd done it to others. 15 families, Black and Latino, vanished, silenced, destroyed. The Mitchells were a dynasty built on other people's pain. Within hours, the police arrived. Margaret and Charles arrested for conspiracy, intimidation, attempted murder. The story blew up nationwide. Hashtags demanding justice. Crowds outside the hospital. The FBI opened an investigation. Mitchell Industries collapsed overnight. Contracts canceled, shares worthless, the empire gone. I sold everything. Drove my daughters to school in a used Honda, happy for the first time in my life. Diana took her settlement and built a foundation for single mothers, right where her old shelter used to stand. Daddy, do you regret it? Ruby asked one afternoon. I watched my daughters laugh in our tiny apartment, saw Diana smiling at the stove, and I knew. I'd lost an empire, but I'd found my family. Our story became a documentary, a case study on justice and racism, and a warning to anyone who thinks money can buy silence. In the end, the real wealth wasn't in skyscrapers or stock portfolios. It was in two little girls who refused to let their mother die, who brought down an empire with nothing but the truth. And if this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Do you think justice was served? What would you have done in James's shoes? Let's talk about where the line falls between loyalty, family, and what's right. Because sometimes tearing it all down is the only way to build something worth living for.